Welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. All right. So, Jirius, how you feeling, man?
Dude, I'm doing outstanding. Great. Had a great workout, had a great sauna session. Just
There we
like
go.
was able
Yeah.
to turn my phone off and just like straight like meditate and hang out.
Yeah.
So
Taking care
I'm
of yourself.
feeling
There we
good, man.
go. Love that.
What?
Yeah. So taking care of yourself. I love it, man. I know,
Have to.
I don't know if, again, David, I think is traveling today, but I mean, he talks about that all the time around like when he invested in his health, that was a game changer for him. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, but cool, everybody. Well, welcome to the Deal Machine Masterclass. Jump in the chat. We already have people saying hello. I'd love for you guys to be able to introduce yourself. Let us know where you're based out of. Let us know if it's your first time on here. Amazing. Welcome. We have a fan favorite on today, Jirius. He's been on quite a few of these now. So one of our go-to guests. Really excited for today. I know these master classes, we always start off and want to share resources with you, give you a chance to shout out what you have going on and give you a really great networking opportunity, and then get to the guest. We bring on world-class guests from all over the place to teach you about just something in real estate to really help you take your real estate business to the next level. We give you a chance to ask Q&A, so you get awesome kind of exclusive access to these folks that are gracious enough to be spending their time with our community. Again, if it's your first time on here, that's why you're getting invited, is that you're an active Deal Machine customer. So welcome. It is run by Deal Machine, but just as a reminder, it's not about the platform. It's about investing in you guys and investing in yourself, your education, your team, your network, your knowledge. So really excited to be able to bring this together every single Wednesday, same time, same place. The resources we go through today, we'll keep sharing that throughout because we're going to have people continuing to join us throughout the hour. Jan, if you have a chance to throw that in the chat at some point here too, that would be Oh, you already did. There we go. Fantastic. So we keep doing. We'll do that every few minutes here throughout today. But just to briefly go through those resources here for you. The first one we've got right there is our networking spreadsheet. So that's just dealmachine.com/elite. That is a list of folks who have come in here and been on these in the past and have said, yeah, I want to network with other real estate investors. I want to network with other real estate professionals. I want to continue to build my network. So jump in there, and I would bet there's probably somebody in your market in there at this point. We've got a ton of names in there. Use that as a resource and just be proactive. Like go in there, you get them. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it. And we're really with this entire community, right? So the networking sheet, definitely start there. The Facebook group, that second link down, also jump in there, join that, join the conversation, help each other out, have that go-giver mindset. Like the more you do that, the more you're going to get out of this. And again, the entire community, and we want to be way more than just a tool for you. We want to be that community to really help you guys continue to network with each other and do deals together. We've had so many deals come out of these calls, where people are teaming up and find future business partners on these calls. So use that as much as you can. The third link down there, I usually have Ryan jump in, but he has the flu today, unfortunately. Our head of customer success, him and his team run those 4 days a week, and that's him going on live, answering questions. That's the best platform or forum rather to ask questions about the Deal Machine platform. So if you have questions around how to do this or how to do that or how to build this list or do this marketing or whatnot, start there. Go into those office hours. Again, he's live 4 days a week. We do have a support chat in the app there. Gets back to you in 15 minutes or less to be able to give you really quality help there too. But if you want to talk live directly to our head of customer success, that third link down is where to do that. And then that fourth and final link here is our masterclass replays. So that's where we're going to be posting this one. You'll see Jarius has got a bunch of replays on there too. We've got the Apple and Spotify podcast links right there, both of those for you to be able to jump in, subscribe, and we always appreciate a rating and review if you're loving it. So jump in there, and that's where we're gonna get the replays. So we'll keep sharing those links throughout. Again, continue to network in the chat. Let us know where you're based out of. Love to see the KC and Philly rivalry on here. That's great. But please use this as a chance to be able to meet each other, team up together. Again, if you jump into the spreadsheet, you can add yourself there, and then Gian will keep sharing those links throughout the call today, and I'll try to help out as well too. So here you go, guys. There you go. Everybody asking about the links. Perfect. Fantastic. So before we get to Jirius, I do want to give you guys a few minutes here. We have a chance to share wins here. So I want to call out the community. Anyone who is willing to hit that react button and then raise hand at the bottom right here. So I'm raising my hand right there just to show you guys. Hit react and then raise hand. If you have a win to share with the community, if it could be a small win, you went out and made your first phone call to a seller, great. It could be a big win, a huge deal you just landed, or a new partnership that are locking up, or a new hire. It could be really anything, big or small. Like, we want to give you guys a chance to shout out yourself, what you're working on, and then it's a great networking opportunity. So hit that raise hand button. David, I appreciate you going first. The first few people to do this, we'll give you guys all a chance to say again, let us know who you are, where you're based out of for networking, and then give us that win. So David, go ahead.
Cool. Yeah. I've joined a number of these calls. Based out of Kansas City. A
There we
couple
go.
wins actually. So I got under contract for a flip, potentially a BRRRR. The numbers work out really well. It's a pretty big fire damaged house,
Mhm.
slightly in the hood, but the numbers work, and it will ARV probably about 150. It had been previously rented at 1450. Current rents are showing around 1500 to 1600. So not sure if I'm totally going to flip it or BRRRR it, but that's a win, and excited to get this project
Yeah.
launched out. Another
Huge.
small win-ish. I found another kind of part of town that I think I want to target for more deal sourcing. I was driving for dollars, came upon another house that was boarded up. Yeah, using the Deal Machine app. It
Amazing.
was boarded up. Gave it a call. It's some investors who actually bought a fire damaged house from whoever the previous family was, and like, yeah, we've just been sitting on it for a couple of years. I don't know. We might look to take an offer on it. It was a very easy conversation. We've not made an offer yet, but it was at least a receptive phone call to somebody who picked up the house probably for super cheap and might be willing to make a little spread and hand it off to me, and it would actually be a really good
Hmm.
deal for me. So hoping for the best
Love
on
it.
that.
Yeah. Way to be proactive, and
Yeah.
awesome to hear you.
If you haven't sent him
Oh, here we go, guys.
this, I know
If you
he's
don't-
doing different things now. So
Oh, here we go. Sorry, if you don't mind hitting that raise hand button, I can unmute you guys. Gian, if you could help me out there in the chat the chat here too. So perfect, awesome. Yeah, again, David, awesome to hear. Again, appreciate the Deal Machine shout out. Awesome that we're helping you out there as a tool to go do deals like this. We have hundreds of interviews on our YouTube channel and podcasts and things of people breaking down deals that they've done using Deal Machines. So if you're up for that at all, that would be amazing. Happy to connect with you on that. And then you said you're in Kansas City, right? The deals you're doing are in KC then
Yep.
too?
Yeah, I'm in KC, but Jarius actually spent a lot of time in Cincinnati, was in Walnut Hills for a long time, from Louisville, Kentucky originally. So that I-70 corridor, I'm like, man, if I had known some of these real estate investing strategies circa 2012, life would be different right now. But hey, you got to start where you are right now. So
I'm
I
gonna
live in
pop
Kansas
into a
City.
couple spots in Cincinnati in my presentation that you might be familiar with. I just bought a
Dude.
two-family from somebody in my academy that wholesaled it to me in Walnut Hills. And like in 2012, if somebody told me I was gonna buy in Walnut Hills, I will tell them they're freaking delusional.
Well, that's why I was
Look
all
at us now.
deep into all the Walnut Hills revitalization stuff. I was right at William Howard Taft and Woodburn in midst of
Yeah.
all that stuff. Cincinnati Street Food Festival, this guy, I started it. Anyway, whole other
Dude,
thing.
we got to connect that. We got to
let's
connect
for
after
sure
this, man.
connect.
Send me a message.
Yeah.
Amazing.
For anybody that wants to find me, there's only one probably Jerry's DeWater on across all social media networks. So just
There you
copy
go.
and
Love
paste
that.
it. It's not
Easy.
going to be that hard.
Amazing. Yeah, and I'll make sure, David, if you could jump in the chat and throw in your contact info. Great networking opportunity there. I know we've got other people in Kansas City in here. Love to see the St. Louis people. I'm personally based in St. Louis, so always looking to network here. But yeah, jump in the chat and give David a little congrats. That was awesome for you to step up and share that, and you're gonna have to keep us updated on that other lead. Sounds promising there too. So, good stuff. All right, good start. Thomas, you had your hand raised. Do you want to go ahead next? If you're able to unmute there, hopefully.
Okay,
There we
here we go. Hi,
Perfect.
my name's Tom. I'm out of the Houston, Texas area. I'm in Friendswood actually, but just outside of Houston. I'm just starting, trying to get a deal going. I haven't done anything yet. I'm having a little trouble navigating the dash machine setup. But
Mhm.
so if anybody can help me with that, I'd appreciate it. And also, if you're in the Houston area, I have a company called TD Plumbing LLC. I'm the master plumber for the company. So if you need any plumbing work done on a flip or anything else, I can help you with that too.
Amazing. Yeah, can definitely put your contact in the chat because we've got a ton of people in Texas for
I
sure,
put
and
it
then
in there.
Houston too. Okay, fantastic. Thomas, I will say for helping you get the most out of Deal Machine, that third link down here, the office hours. Let me throw that back in the
Third
chat
link, I
for
don't see it
everybody.
here.
It's that when I just put it back in there for you, join office hours. Definitely join that. That is a live call. And I saw a few shout outs to AJ and our team here of, people getting help on those. Those are great. So definitely join that. And,
I'm sorry, I still can't see it here on my. How do I find that on here? I have the
Uh,
chat up.
if you have the chat up, it should be that last one in the chat. I'll add it one more time for you. And then do you have a direct email? I can just email you the link
Yeah,
too.
it's Tom Dick, TOMDICK
Mm-hmm.
1959 at
Mhm.
gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. I'll just email it to you direct. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, no problem, Tom.
Nice talking to everybody.
Yeah, thank you for stepping up and saying hey. And I know we have a lot of Texas people on here, so great
Like I
networking
said, anybody
opportunity.
needs help, please give
Perfect.
me a call.
Awesome. Cool. Do we maybe have one more? Jirius, do you have any recent wins, man? I know you do.
Yeah, I mean, I've got lots of wins. Like my wins like don't even matter, honestly. Like I've got a win that somebody that's in one of my communities is in the Netherlands, Jonas. I don't know if he's in here or not, shout him out. But I started helping him learn how to wholesale. I think it was like December, and he's already picked up one deal for sure in Atlanta that he's wholesaling, and he's got another one under contract. Hi Maria. It's an academy. How's it going? But like that's freaking cool. The dude's in the Netherlands and picking up deals in Atlanta. So like
Incredible.
that's an amazing win. So
No
that's pretty
joke.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I know it's been a little while since we've done kind of like virtual deals, being kind of the theme for one of these. So, I know on our podcast we've got some topics around that. If you guys subscribe there, and we'll keep throwing the links in the chat for you on how to do that. But then maybe we'll address that again here in another one coming up. Or if you jump on the office hours and ask Ryan, he'll be able to give you some virtual strategies too. So, nice. Jala, hopefully I pronounced your name there correctly. It closed yesterday, 15K spread. Amazing. Congrats there. All right, Tom, do you want to be the last one here? Or we'll do Tom and it looks like just Tom. Okay, there we go. We'll do one more.
Yeah, that I've had Deal Machine since November of last year, and I've played around with it a little bit, but I got onto a driving for dollar challenge, and so that's kind of kicked me off to where we're using it, and I just loaded up some of our personal postcards and got those sent out today. So pretty excited.
Nice. Yeah, congrats. I was going to say I recognize you, and so that's awesome. You're in the challenge. So
Hard to miss me in this jacket.
there we go. Sorry, what market did you say again?
I'm in Augusta, Georgia.
Augusta. Okay, cool. Yeah, we've definitely got members in Georgia on here too. So put your contact info in the chat. Love for you to be able to use this to network here too, Tom.
Perfect.
All right. Good stuff today. Well, let's Jirius, let's get this thing kicked off on your end, man. Again, just to introduce Jirius, I know you've been on quite a few times with us now, probably at least 5 or 6, I would think, but you're a popular recurring guest. You're somebody that is high demand on here, man. So just to kind of give you a little background, Jirius has done over 1,000 wholesale transactions in the last 10 years plus, $30 million plus portfolio he's built. So today he's going to really dig in on how to master doing deals, really that appointment to close process. He's an open book though, so feel free to get ready to ask questions. I'll pay attention to the chat, so either hit the raise hand button or put your question in the chat, and I'll follow along there. But Jirius, I'll really kick it over to you to run it from here, man. And excited for today.
Awesome. Cool, man. Let me I'll share my screen here in a second. So
Yeah.
format, guys, I'm just gonna share some slides. Some of you that have know my story, but I'm gonna share it again because it's boring, but some people don't know it. And then I'm going to share my story, and then I'm going to give you guys some actionable, tangible things that you can do to be better, like wholesalers, deal getters, whatever it is you want to be. So let's kick it off. And Matt, thank you for that introduction. the truth is, I'm really just that person he calls when people cancel last minute because I don't really do anything except sit on my computer. So thanks,
I
man.
can't count on you to show up anytime, though. I
So
appreciate
late night, got a message. I'm like, all right, let's do it. All right. So, let me share my screen. Can you guys see this? Okay, it says conquering
Yep.
seller
Gotcha.
appointments. Cool. Awesome. So, let's start. Boom. So, what I am going to do in the next 40 minutes is bring you as much value as I possibly can. At the very end of this, I'm going to talk about a couple spreadsheets that I use. And at the end of this, I'm going to show you guys where you can get them, like for free, 100% for free. You can get the spreadsheets, take them, do whatever you want with them. So you don't need to type in the chat and ask for them. I will give them to you. So just wait, okay? So start with a pop quiz. I like to just make sure everybody's paying attention. And let's start with a couple true and false. Number one is you can't invest in real estate while working full-time. True or false? Who in here believes that it is very difficult / impossible to invest in real estate full-time while working a full-time job? Let me know in the chat. False. Good. All right, cool. Answer to that is false. Survey says false. You 100% can invest in real estate while working full-time. I know that because I started investing in real estate working like 2 full-time jobs and a part-time job and investing in real estate. So what's going to happen whenever you start out in the beginning is what I like to call the season of suck. So it is the season of suck because you are going to be working double time. You will be working twice as hard as most people. And I'm not going to be that person here that's going to tell you you're going to go do all this stuff and it's going to be super easy all the time, because that is a lie. And I'm just not a liar because it's very hard. But on the other side of the sacrifice and the commitment that we make to do this is a life where you can literally take a random phone call from Matt Camp and show up on a Zoom the next day because like you kind of like live life by design. Like kind of do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. But that was not the case a few years ago when I was like eating shit and working my face off, for lack of a better term. So keep that in mind. But you 100% can do it. Next thing is cash flow is the key to successfully investing in real estate. I see Maria like smiling and running to her computer. Like, no. True or false? Ooh, we got yes. All right. True. All right. Okay. True. Answer to that is my answer is false. It is not true. It is part of what makes you successful investing in real estate. But I'm going to share with you a second, like what is the true key when investing in real estate here in a second, when what has helped change my life. Now, I'll dive into that here in just a second, but false. Now, a little bit about me. I graduated high school in 2002. I graduated, this is my actual transcript right here. I graduated 9th from the bottom. My GPA was a 1.53. I was what you call dumb. Like I was in all those classes, like my classrooms I was in were like those small classrooms that had like 7 people that like all had learning disabilities. Like they were just like in there, and I was just like stuck in these classrooms. But like I wasn't a bad kid, and I actually tried, which was like the sad part. It'd be different if I was like a troublemaker and I didn't try and I got bad grades, but like I tried, and I just wasn't good at learning the traditional way school teaches us. Like I just wasn't good at like studying, like learning, taking this information, studying and taking a test. Does anybody in here, like, let me know in the chat. Like, does anybody like get it? Has anybody like feel the same way? Like I just feel like school wasn't built for me. Like I had a very hard time at school, and it wasn't, again, because I was bad. I just didn't learn that way that they were talking about it. So it wasn't until my senior year of high school, I went to my guidance counselor, and we were doing an exit interview after high school. And he's like, well, Jarius, what do you want to do after high school? And I'm like, well, I want to go to college, because that's the right answer, right, guys? Because like I come from like a huge immigrant family. My family's from Jordan. So like all my cousins, like anybody, like any Arabs in here, Indian people, Chinese, like any first generation immigrants in here, like can probably get this. Like you're like doctor, engineer, lawyer, like you're something, right? Because like that's the thing. That's what you have to do. Well, there I was, barely graduated high school, and my guidance counselor is like, hey, you can't go to college. Basically, he asked me, he's like, well, what do you want to do? I said, go to college. Then he said, well, do you have any more realistic expectations? So then I was like, holy cow, I can't go to college. Like, I can't go to college. I don't know what to do. So I ended up walking across the hall and joining the military. So I joined the military at 17 years old, and I went in as a helicopter mechanic. I fixed CH-47s. They're Chinook helicopters, like the big ones with 2 propellers on top. And I fixed those helicopters. And when I went in to that school, it was like one of the toughest jobs in the military was to be a helicopter mechanic. And what the funny thing is like I went into one of the toughest jobs in the military, and I actually ended up graduating as the distinguished honor graduate, which meant like I was top of my class. Like I crushed all the tests, I killed the PT, like the physical fitness stuff, and I did really, really well. And I'm like I look back at that time in the military, and I'm just like, man, why was I such a poor student? But why did I excel in the military? And this is the magic takeaway. If you guys sign off today, this is like the only thing you need to know in life is number one, our school system taught us, listen, memorize, take tests. Memorize, take tests. In the military, it was different. We're not taught we had to know everything, but we had to know where to find the answers. So anytime the hydraulic system was broken on a helicopter, anytime the collective or the clutch broke, anytime fill in the blank was broken in the helicopter, I didn't have to know how to fix that right off the bat, but I had to know where to find the answers to fix that. And when I realized like I didn't need to know everything, I just needed to know where to find the answers. Like I was like, man, that like changed my life. So that was huge for me. So what happened in the military? Well, in the military, I was introduced to this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Has anybody in here read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Right in the chat, let me know if you've read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Well, in that book, there's this concept. This was me on home on leave one time preaching the cash flow quadrant. Who's seen the cash flow quadrant? I'll break it down super, super quick. Basically, there's like 4 sections to the quadrant. On one side, there's employees, and then there's people that are self-employed. Those are people that like trade time for money. Like you work a certain hours and then you get paid like over and over again. Then on the other side, there are business owners, people that own a system that make them money. And then there are investors, people who trade money to make money. So there's 4 ways to make money. And 90% of America is on the other side where we're trading time for money. That's it. Like who in here remembers hearing people say like, just work hard and you'll be successful. Just work hard and you'll be successful. And what's funny is in my experience, some of the hardest working people I know are the brokest. Like my dad worked 3 jobs growing up for us just to be poor, like lower middle class. Like for me to just grow up on free lunch or 40-cent lunch, like that was my life. Like I would be so embarrassed every day at the lunch line. I would be the last kid to go through the lunch line because I didn't want people to see them marking off my name on the free and reduced lunch thing. So I'd be the last one to go through the lunch line, and I would get like, I'd be stuck eating my lunch like in like 12 minutes because that's all the time I had. So I learned how to eat really fast because I didn't want people to see me on free lunch. So like my dad was just broke. So it's like, we're kind of taught to work hard at the wrong things instead of like learning how to build a system that can make money for us on the other side of that quadrant. So we'll get into that here in a second. Now, what do I do next? So I get out of the military and I have no clue what I was going to do. But I knew that I had to get on the other side of the quadrant, right? I knew that I didn't want to go work for somebody forever. I knew that I needed to build a system. Well, in Rich Dad Poor Dad, the one thing that a lot of people had in common is that they all built a system, most of them, through real estate. And well, here's the deal. It's like when I left the military, I was an idiot. I had saved no money and I had destroyed my credit. I had like a 474 credit score and I had saved nothing. And I ended up getting a medical discharge because my knees got messed up on a mission. And so I ended up having to get out. And I like wasn't really ready to get out because I had like nothing saved and nothing, but I got a medical discharge and I was like, crap, well, I'm out. But the one thing that happened was I never stopped thinking about like, how do I find the answer? Like, how do I get into real estate? And this is like in 2009-ish. And in 2009, I stumbled across like this method of real estate called wholesaling. Do we have any wholesalers in here? Like, let me know if we have wholesalers in here. This method called wholesaling. And I'm sure most of you have heard of it, but for those of you that have not, it's basically finding the ugliest house in the nicest area and then putting that house under contract and then selling it to someone that is fixing up houses in that neighborhood, and then basically selling your paper and charging them a fee in between. So I got introduced to this concept of wholesaling in about 2009-ish. Well, from 2009-ish to about 2016, 2015-ish, I got really good at wholesaling. I got so good. This was my company. That's my son. When he was just a little baby, I had to take him with me everywhere to go into all these moldy, disgusting houses. And I'm pretty sure he did his first deal when he was like 6 months. So he's crushing it. But that's my company right there, Core Group. And we did over 1,000 wholesale deals. Like I had an on-market side, probate, off-market, nuisance properties. We bought tons of deals off the MLS, believe it or not. Yeah, MLS, you can actually buy deals. Like, it's a spot. But I went on to go do over 1,000 wholesale deals. And I used what I learned in wholesaling to source properties, to learn how to talk to cash buyers, talk to sellers. I learned how to underwrite deals. I learned how to estimate rehabs, like all this stuff. Like wholesaling was the backbone of everything that taught me, that got me going in real estate. So, and I'm going to pause for a quick second so I can just like talk to whoever in here that needs to hear this. Like when I tell you guys, I've been through every rung of real estate, every rung of life, every rung of like whatever you might be feeling. Like I'm talking to that person on this call right now that might have spent their last like $98 on Deal Machine this month, or that might be super busy, or that might be whatever. I'm talking to this person because I was that person. Like I was that person. I started out in real estate, wholesaling because I had no choice. I had no choice. I had to get into real estate. Then from wholesaling, I went from wholesaling to flipping because I thought that's what you were supposed to do, is to flip. While there is a time and a place to flip, I can tell you right now, the real wealth is created in buying and holding real estate, which I'll get to here in a second. Cindy, the picture looks like, yeah, it's at RIA. Like I was RIA's, all the land. You might even have one of my lanyards if you were around back then. I sponsored the lanyards every year at the RIA here in Cincinnati. It was always at Great Wolf Lodge, but yeah. So then, so that's it. Like, I don't want you guys to feel like you're limited by what you don't have, because what you do have is this incredible community, and you have this, like you can breathe, you can talk, you can do whatever, you can do all that intangible stuff. But I could rant about that for hours. I'm not going to right now. Maybe at the end if there's time. I got to blow through this for you guys. So let's go here. So, all right. So I'm a recovered wholesaler. Now I say that because I did over 1,000 wholesale deals. And while it's cool to say that I've done 1,000 wholesale deals, what's way cooler is to be like, I own over 30 million in hotel or in deals, and I own hotels. And like when you own the hotel, well, hold on, stop. I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, I'll share that in a sec. But I ended up having like an epiphany. So my really, really good friend and a mentor, Nate BRRRR, some of you might know Nate, some of you might be in our big group and our small group and whatever. But the one thing I had realized when I created this wholesale company is that like I kind of created like a high paying job. Like my systems weren't real systems. Like I still had to be in the middle of a lot of it, and I can never really walk away from it. So while I was making six figures, I cleaned up my credit, I did really well. I just felt like I was kind of stuck, and it hit hard one day. It was like in November 15 or 2015, 2014. I had called my friend Nate, and we were working on wholesaling like a big apartment building in like west side of Cincinnati, Westwood or something. And it was super loud where he was. And I'm like, Nate, what are you doing? And he's like, man, I pulled Caden out of school and we're sled riding. And I was like, what do you mean you're sled riding? It's like noon on a Wednesday. Like you're supposed to be at work and Caden is supposed to be at school. Like, what are you doing? Because that's like what we're taught, right? And he's like, man, I already made $1 million this year. He's like, I'm done working for the year. I'm just taking this time off, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, damn. I'm like I knew he did good, but I just didn't know how good he did. And I was like, dude, will you help me? Because like I'm getting a lot of deals and I'm doing this, but I feel like I don't know when I'm going to be able to like stop, or like when do I like slow down? And he's like, well, you got to start buying and holding real estate. And I was like, all right, well, and I was doing some flips at the time too. And I was like, well, will you help me? He's like, yes. So I'm not going to get into like finding areas and stuff like that. If we can talk about that some other time, but basically we went through, we found this part of Cincinnati. Where's my Cincinnati man in here? Dave, he's in here. So we found this part of Cincinnati called the Incline District in East Price Hill. And this area was like ghetto, like nobody wanted anything to do with it. But here's the deal with the Incline District in Walnut Hills and Madisonville and Westwood. And Mount Auburn and Evanston, like these little communities, right? is they all had the city's attention. They were getting grants from the city. They were getting new rec centers. They were getting new parks. They had the attention of Cincinnati. So guess what happens when the city gives certain communities and neighborhoods their attention? They invest money and things get nicer. Well, for some reason, nobody believed in East Price Hill because they thought, because it was connected to Price Hill. And if you guys know Cincinnati, Price Hill is like the worst word ever. It's like a swear word. It's terrible. So, so they didn't pay any attention to it. So when people are looking the other way, it's like Warren Buffett. When people are fearful, be greedy. When people are greedy, be fearful, right? But I went in and I found this property because that's what I was obviously really good at doing, was finding deals. And I found this property here. It's 3-family, and I bought it for $17,500. And I put $130,000 into this property. Now, I did that using a HELOC against my house. So I house hacked the house that I currently lived in. Basically means I bought my house as a foreclosure and needed work. So every time I did a wholesale deal, I made it nicer, nicer, nicer. And then I had the house reappraised after I made it very nice. And then they were like, "Wow, Jerry, you bought the house you lived in for $145,000, but now this house is worth $400,000." So guess what the bank will give you? It's called a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. Does everybody here know what a HELOC is? It's essentially the difference between what you owe on a property and what the property is worth. So that's when I took that HELOC and bought this first property. Now let's look at the numbers. 2015, bought it for $17,500 and put 130 into it. Stupidly spent 130. It was my first project. I made a bunch of stupid mistakes and trusted some contractors. Anybody here ever make dumb mistakes renovating properties? I have. I still do every once in a while. That'd be lying if I told you I didn't. So, and then it appraised for 130. Now let's look at the math real fast. So I'm into this house for this 3-family for about 150,000. It appraised for 135. Well, I want to BRRRR it, which means buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. And I want to pull my money back out. Well, the bank will only lend me 75% of the $135,000, which ends up being like 105,000-ish. So that right there, I would call a very failed BRRRR. That taught me some lessons. Number one is I got to tighten up construction numbers. I got to manage contractors better. And number three is I can't scale if I ever want to use, I can't scale to the level I want if I only use my money to fund all my deals. I've got to get private money and hard money. So I took some lessons. That's for a different training. We're not going to talk about that today. We're going to get to the seller appointments. So that same property in 2022 from buying in the right area, I recently, a couple years ago, ended up refinancing that property. I came back and I was like, man, property, like I know you're in an area that's been up and coming. You got to be worth more. What's going on here? That property appraised in 2022 for $365,000, which brings me back to my first question is like, cash flow, is that the most important thing? It's one of the most important things, but it's not the most important thing. Because if you look here, that property from what it was worth back in 2015 to 2022 increased an average of about almost $33,000 a year. That's $2,700 a month on top of my principal reduction, on top of my tax benefits, and on top of what the cash flow was. Does that make sense, everybody? That's the power of buying in the right area. I bought 40 properties within 4 streets of this. I bought a lot. And I actually ended up using part of this refi money to go on and buy some hotels. That's Nate and I in front of our Hampton Inn, our Courtyard Marriott. That's our Staybridge, little courtyard there. And like, I can tell you right now, one of the coolest things about owning hotels is that the pools never close. Like you go there with my son, his friends, and we'll swim until like midnight. And they're like, "Do we got to go?" And I'm like, "We don't got to do anything. We could swim until you guys don't want to swim anymore. Then we'll go raid the mini bar and then we'll just go to bed or do whatever." Like it's freaking awesome. And it literally all started with me learning how to wholesale and find deals. But it did not happen overnight. It definitely did not happen overnight. It took time. And right now, a lot of people I'm helping are doing it way faster than I did it, which I'm really happy for. I feel like I have to say I'm happy for them, right, Matt? I have to be happy for them. No, but they're doing awesome things, which is super cool. But that's my story real fast. Now, let's jump into a little bit about like what you guys do and what makes this so powerful. Now, and when it comes to real estate, we wear 3 hats. We wear 3 hats, and 3 hats that we wear are we're a salesperson, And these are like books that I think everybody should read. So I just want to drop this in here. If you guys want to take a photo of this, we're a salesperson. Number one, and first and foremost, in real estate, we're a salesperson. Anybody who tells you you're not a salesperson, whether or not you have your real estate license, is a liar. Like you go on a seller appointment that I'm going to kind of give you some tips for, you're selling. You go and meet lenders, you're selling. You're meeting contractors, you're selling. You are constantly selling. So if they tell you otherwise, they're lying to you. So, How to Win Friends and Influence Others is an incredible book to sharpen that skill. Number two is you're an entrepreneur. You eat what you kill. Like in real estate, we don't get paid just because we went and added properties in Deal
Hey,
Machine.
can I ask you a question? Sure. Sorry, it's
I think you're
we
good.
don't.
Good.
Okay, cool. So we don't get paid just because we go put stuff in Deal Machine. We don't get paid for being busy, because the people that get paid for being busy are the people that trade time for money, right? We want bigger chunks. Like we want to get paid for results. So the book that helps with that is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey. I love that book. And the third hat is you are a business owner. You got to do your QuickBooks, no matter what they say. QuickBooks, you got to budget your rehabs. You got to get material on site. Like you are a business owner. There are 3 hats, and that's Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I love that book. It's one of my favorites. So these are 3 hats you wear, 3 books that I think that everybody on this call should be reading or should read at least once a year or listen to. Now, that being said, how many people in here are brand new? Like feel like they're brand new. Feel like they know nothing. Comment nothing if you feel like you know nothing. Like if you guys are just like you're in here and you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm just on this app thing. Like, what am I doing? Like, let me know. Cool, dude. I love that. So here's the deal. I'm here to tell you this right now. The fact that you guys are here on a Wednesday afternoon learning this, not even just from me, but from many of the other incredible guests that Matt and David and their team has, and the incredible, generous, so powerful office hours that Deal Machine has. If you guys are not plugged into those resources, you have to make that a daily habit. That is incredibly important and so stinking powerful. But by being here right now, you guys are in like the top 5% of real estate investors, of people that know real estate. I promise you. You come on these calls and you watch previous calls, just give yourself 60 days of just being on these calls every Wednesday, and then go watch the other ones while you're driving to work, while you're on a walk, while you're doing whatever. You will know way more than 90% of the people out there. I promise you. And the next thing I want you to understand is when you're part of a community like this that Deal Machine puts together that is incredible, it is no more I. It's like no more I. Even if you feel like you're doing it by yourself, together you guys are the we. Like we are all partners. Like we are all here to watch each other win. So like you're part of something bigger. So just don't ever feel like you're here doing this stuff alone. Is that cool? Is everybody okay with that? We're all here together. So what I'm going to talk about is the first call. Now we're going to get to like the seller appointment. So I'm going to like speed through this because I want to hit some questions. So there's a few ways that we're going to get motivated sellers. Number one is if we do have cold callers that are out there calling, and I love using my cold callers to sort, not to sell, because they can do massive amounts of volume. Like a good cold caller, if you guys have like VAs or anything like that, can do between 350 to 400-ish calls a day. And my big takeaways I want from my cold callers is to sort and not sell. And I want them to figure this information out here before it comes to me. On the other side that we can get these inbound leads are through postcards, other awesome outreaches through Deal Machine. And here's a few things I want to know. I want to know is why are they selling? Like what's their motivation? Hey, awesome. I want to know, what are they selling? Why are you guys selling? What are you looking to get rid of it for? Cool. How soon are you looking to get rid of it? Have you made any recent updates to the property? And do you have a ballpark price? I never, ever ask. How many people on here ask like, well, does the house need anything? Have you guys ever asked that? Like when you're talking to a seller, like, well, what does the house need? Like that's always just like such an interesting question. And I think I say it in here somewhere, but like if the water runs and the toilet's flush and the roof doesn't leak, the house doesn't need anything. So like an easier answer is like, have you made any updates to the property recently? Did you have a ballpark price? Listen, take notes. Never does the house need anything. And then the next thing I want to ask is, when can I see the property? Like, I firmly believe that speed to lead is one of the most important things and is the thing that separates the people doing lots of deals and the people that are not doing any deals. Speed to lead cannot be overstated, guys. I'm telling you from experience. I am a certified spaz. I don't know if you've noticed, I can't sit still. I have ADD. I never stop moving. And it is very, very important to understand that when it comes, like, dude, your skip tracing is free. It's part of Deal Machine. That's mind blowing. That is insane. But here's the deal when it comes with data. When it comes to data, 99% of the data out there, guys, 90% of it, I don't even know. Most of it is like all kind of the same or really similar. What separates the people doing lots of deals and the people not doing any deals are the people actually looking at deals, are the people actually underwriting deals and submitting offers. I cannot tell you how many times I've talked to somebody that's like, yeah, I've got like nine warm leads, man. 9 warm leads came in on a podium, man. It's cool. I'm like, oh, dude, that's amazing. Like, where are they at? And they're like, I got to go look at them. I'm like, oh, so like, when did they come in? I was like, last week. Cool. So like, so help me understand. You invested in cold callers. You invested in a CRM. You're mining for motivated sellers, but you're waiting 7 to 12 days to go look at seller appointments. Like, I'm confused. Like, do you not like money? Like, what are you trying to do here? And I remember I got so freaking mad at my community one day. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to build this thing out. I was like, I bet I'll get a deal in 30 days or less. And guess what? I got a deal in 30 days or less. And guess why? And guess what happened? I met a bunch of our academy members. Who in here is in the academy? Comment academy if you guys are in there. But I met a bunch of our academy members in Cincinnati at this house. And I pull up to the house. I swear to God, I'll never forget. Leo walks up to me and Leo's like, how'd you get this house? I talked to Marvin and Marvin didn't want to sell it. And Marvin did this. And I'm like, dude, Marvin did want to sell it. You never followed up with him. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I was like, and I literally went through what I'm about to show you guys with Marvin. And I followed up and I showed him a sense of urgency and I listened to him. I sat there and sat with Marvin in the driveway for 2 hours talking about a Dodge Dakota that I could give 2 shits less about. But guess what? I don't care. It's what Marvin wanted to talk about. Like, that's just what you do. But whatever. So yeah, dude, she is exhausted. She's a saint. I know. All right, so let's keep rolling. All right. So next thing is like, hey, like on that phone call, like I'm not gonna be that person that's gonna tell you like we're gonna go wrap up 1,000 deals virtually. I'm not like gonna definitely be that person that tells you we're gonna submit offers on everything and see what sticks, and then we're gonna give wholesalers a bad name because we're just like liars and we're this and that. Like, I like genuinely want to come at a position of actually helping people that want to sell houses. Because guess what happens when you do the right thing from the beginning? It's easier to scale. It's like easier to like not like when you tell the truth in the beginning instead of like a lie, like that gets really complicated. Like that gets very complicated. And then you have to remember what lie you told one person. So why not just like come at it and actually try to help people? But my big thing is like I always tell people, no matter what, I'm like, man, if they ask like, what do you want to give me for it? What about this? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, it's hard to say without seeing it. When can I come look at it? Or when can so-and-so come look at it? Like if you're out of state and you're like picking up a deal and you got, I don't call them bird dogs. I call them property scouts. Like, I think bird dog is a stupid name. I just think it's like a mythological creature that like came out of somewhere like in ancient Greece. Like, I don't know what a bird dog is. I don't know where the F that name came from, but they're property scouts. Like, hey, is it cool? I'm going to have my property scout, I'm going to have David go out there. He's actually like my property scout, and he's going to take a peek at my properties. If you're not there, right? Like if you are there, you need to get in your car and go look at it. Okay. So do that for me. Go. But yeah, anyway, it's hard to say without seeing it. When can I come see it? So before the meeting, homework, there's 2 things I need you guys to do. And I'll share these, I'll share this in a second, but anyway, I'll share at the very end. So, and I have spreadsheets for this, and I'll show you guys the spreadsheets whenever. But the first one is basically there's 2 sets of ARVs on a house. Basically, there is the ARV for what the house is going to be worth as it sits, and then there's the ARV after repair value for what the house will be worth when you're done with it. my number one rule for making billions of dollars in real estate is number one is we are not buying a property for what it currently is right now. Number 2 is we want to buy assets and we want to find assets that are functionally obsolete, that are outdated. And we want to, number 3, find properties that we can force the appreciation in. How do you do that? Man, you can do that a lot of different ways. Like, you can take the 4-bedroom, 1-bath brick ranch that's 1,600 square feet and turn that into a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath brick ranch that will comp out for more than a 1-bathroom house that doesn't have an ensuite. It's a whole thing. Trust me, it's real. I promise. I would never lie to you. But your first ARV, what you believe the actual ARV is, and that's an ARV that you kind of like keep to yourself and like you kind of keep for your own records. And the second ARV is going to be an ARV that's a little bit lower, but it is like a honest like ARV of like what the home is worth if it were to be fixed up in the current condition. But we want to fix it up nicer. Like we're investors. We want to push the value. That's like what we do. So next, like here's an example before the meeting homework is like number 1, it's like this is a pocket right here in Cincinnati, Fordham. David, you might know this pocket. I don't know. This is in Silverton, and it's in Silverton. It's just like these 3 streets, guys, and the values are literally all over the freaking place. But they're different for different reasons. And you can push the radius. I like to stay in the same zip code, same school district, and whatever else. But you can see here, you got 308, you got 180, you got 210, 230, 246, 330. Just like they're all over. And we can dive into that some other time, but I won't do that right now. But you can see here, like the comps that I'm going to bring with me to go look at this house are going to be the houses that are around the 275 range. And then my comp is like, man, I really think the house is worth 340. So what does that mean? Well, there's a difference of about $65,000 versus like what I'm going to turn the house into versus what the house is worth in the current condition it's in, fixed up as it sits. Like that 4-bedroom, 1-bath Cape Cod is probably worth 275. But guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to finish the basement. I'm going to create an ensuite. I'm going to flip the layout to make it up to today's standard. Like I'm going to do these things that's going to increase the value by a lot more by enforcing the appreciation. So before the meeting homework, now let's talk about showing up. My rules for showing up are pretty simple. Is like know what you're walking into, know the circumstances and the motivation. If somebody comes in from Milwaukee and they're in Cincinnati because their mom died, they got to bury their mom or whatever. Like I'm not going to come in there like I just won the lottery or like whatever, right? You're going to you want to like mirror the tone of the people that you're with. Like, obviously I don't show up to people's houses 100 miles an hour. Like I'll stutter, I'll slow down. I'll just I'll mirror however they are. Cause people that are like each other. It's pretty simple. Next thing is I want to dress down and look the part. When I dress down and look the part, I like to show up literally in like shorts that are covered in paint, basketball shorts, t-shirts, a hoodie, whatever. I'm not that dude that's ever going to show up in a suit and tie. I hate suit and ties. I'm the most anti-dress up person on the planet. I just I didn't work my guts off to dress up. Like I like to wear my own merch. Like I'm addicted to buying houses. These are my people know this shirt. But yeah, I just like to dress down. I don't want to look like a used car salesman. I don't want to look like a car salesman. I just want to look like a dude that buys houses, a girl that buys houses. Like you're just a person that buys houses. I like to ask open-ended questions, especially questions that are like yes questions. Man, so tell me, what would you, what would you do with the money for this? You guys have plans for this? Oh, cool. Do you would you say the property right now is kind of in pretty rough shape? Oh yeah, it's in rough shape. Awesome. Have you had any issues with the neighbors being upset about the grass or the gutters or the condition? It's yeah. Hey, has the city given you any issues? Oh yeah, they've come by, but we're trying to figure it out. Whatever. Just shut up and just listen, because everything you need to know, they will tell you. I promise you, they will tell you. It's just in between listening and not listening. And also, too, another great book. Somebody just shot it over real quick. It is Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. I freaking love Chris Voss. He's insane. If you guys don't know Chris Voss and Never Split the Difference, that needs to be in your reading as well. He's amazing. He doesn't negotiate. That's his number one thing, though, right? He doesn't negotiate. He just tells it how it is, which is basically what we're doing. So comps, let's do this. Like, I like to start by walking the property, build rapport. I always ask before I enter a property, I'm like, hey, is it okay if I take some photos of the house just so I remember, like, what I'm looking at? Always ask permission. Hey, and they say, yeah, that's no problem, right? Another yes, like, yes, yes, yes. Cool, I'm gonna take some photos. Boom. Then I sit down at the kitchen table, at the countertops, wherever, at the coffee shop around the corner. I go through the comps. This is this. Take my time, go through. Would you say this is this? This is the house, blah, blah, blah. And I get them to like agree, to understand where I'm coming from when I'm coming up with the value. Because even though we're going there with a value in mind, I also want them to feel like they came up with the value themselves. Does that make sense, everybody? Like, I want them to feel like it was like our team decision. Like, I didn't just tell them. I share notes based on the house. I think it's worth blah, blah, blah. Boom, boom. Paperwork, the contract. Rule number 1 for this part, guys, is you never ever call it a contract. Call it the paperwork. Hey, let's get the paperwork out of the way. Contract sounds scary. Who in here remembers like when you have to sign like DirecTV contracts and contracts for all kinds of stuff? Nobody likes doing that, man. Nobody wants to sign a contract. It sounds you're signing your life away. I always call it the paperwork. Number 2, which is actually number 1, is it blows my mind how many people will show up to a seller appointment without a purchase agreement. It's like you guys are going there just to go meet them without having the intention of buying this house. Like, you have to bring the paperwork. Like, I will always leave them with an offer. And if it's signed by them, that's even better. But if it's not, I'll give them an offer with a deadline. Hey, listen, I love this house. Like, we got to this number. We go through the number, whatever. We got to this number. Here's this number. I like love this house. This is my number 1 choice. But here's the deal: is like whether I'm keeping it or not. Like, the word track's pretty much the same. I work, man. I work with a lot of investors. I have a lot of properties going on right now. Now, this is my number 1 choice, but I've got to keep my guys busy. And like we need to pick up our next house. So if this one doesn't work out, that's okay. I do need to find something else. But here's the paperwork. If you're interested, like, I'm good. I can close in 30 to 45 days, whether it's myself or somebody that's on my team that I work with. Like, as long as you're good with your 240 that you want to get, I feel very confident that somebody on my team will get it. Blah, blah, blah. Right. That whole thing. You guys know the drill. We can get into that in a sec. I also want to go through with them with a rehab spreadsheet. And I will share this with you guys too. At the end, I'll tell you guys where you can get it. Again, it's 100% for free. You can get it. I don't care. The rehab spreadsheet. I also go through with the seller line by line what the house needs. Hey, this comp had a new kitchen. This comp had a bathroom. Would you agree that a new kitchen's about $14,000 or about $20,000? A new bathroom is about $9,000. Line by line. Hey, I put new flooring in a house. This carpet is really old. It's stained. Carpet, new. I'm going to go through with a nice luxury plank flooring. It's going to be about, something like that's going to be about $12 a foot. This house is 1,200 square feet, so on. The roof is shot, so on and so forth. The window, hey, each window is about $200, or not about 200, is about $800 to replace. Would you agree with that? And I'm like beefing it up a little bit. Like, here's the deal: is like, as an investor, we know that we can get windows done for like $250 to $300, but on the retail side, if somebody says they need, like, my neighbors are like, I got new windows, they were $800 a piece. I almost crap my pants. I was like, why? Like, why would you pay $800 for regular vinyl single HUD windows? But it's just what people do. It's weird. But anyway, that's fine. And if you have zero experience, start using, if you have zero experience, use the we when starting out. Like I said in the beginning, together, it's no more I, it's we. Like, we do this kind of, we use these kind of finishes. We do these kind of houses. This is what we are looking for. This fits our buy box. Because together, you guys are way more powerful than you are just by yourself. So the next is the offer. I did that twice. Blah, blah, blah. The offers. I'll go through the spreadsheet. I'll start at 70% of the after repair value that we agreed on. And I'll be like, listen, Mr. Miss Seller, I got to be at 70% of this after repair value. And here's how the numbers work. So basically, I'd be at 70%. So 70% of just say 100,000 is oh my God, $70,000. But then I got to back out the repair. Now, we went through the repair spreadsheet, and we both agreed that the house needs about 35,000 in work. Well, 70,000 minus 70,000 minus just say 30,000. That means the most I can pay you for this house is 40,000, because after I put the 30 in, I got to sell it for 100. And then I got realtor fees, concessions. I got to pay for the money that I borrow, all that. This is full transparency. Like, this is my offer. Here you go. And my partner, Nate, I mentioned earlier, Nate and his son, Caden, we literally did this exact same thing that I'm telling you guys. Like, it's like not things that I put on paper that I think is theory. It's things that I've done hundreds and hundreds of times. We literally did this with the last house that Caden picked up on Budno. We sat in this woman's kitchen and broke all this down for her. And then she just said, she was like, all right, she's like, just stop. I know the house needs work. I know. She's like, just what can you pay? What can you pay me for it? Like, what can you do? And we're like, this is what we can pay for it. And she said, okay. And she was super happy about it. And we were happy about it. Like, it was a great win-win for everybody. This is where I need to be. Does that make sense? Shut up and listen. Oh my God. What happens next? Earnest money. I'm going to stop here. Guys, we could go for like ever. I don't need to do anymore. Maybe we'll do a part 2 or a part 7, but I want to leave a couple minutes just for some questions, because I know that people had questions. But up to this point, does this all make sense, guys? Do you get do you kind of get where I'm coming from? Let me share my screen really quick too. If you guys want this, so this right here is my comp worksheet. This is a sample. This is the seller comps. These are the investor comps. These are your max all in. It calculates all that fun stuff. And this is my wholesale spreadsheet for the quick numbers. If you guys want this, you can have it for free. Hold on, let me share the link. I have the link for this in here. It's in my I'll just share my screen again. Here, it's in my school community right here, guys. Here's the deal. It's $97 a month. It's not free, but it's free for 7 days. I don't care if you guys come in and steal everything I have and leave. That's fine if you want to. If you guys want to stay and want like coaching and want more help, like I got you. But you can come. I'll make it super easy for you to come and steal everything and then leave. I don't care. Or I'll place the VA in your business. Whatever you guys want. I got you covered. So, Matt, are there questions anywhere? Are you guys more confused than when you got on here? I'm sorry.
This was awesome, man. I put a 1 in the chat if you love this, or put some appreciation here for Jarius, guys. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. This is why he's a recurring guest, and you've got, like you said, speed to masterclass. I know I can count on you, man. So
what I'm here for.
There we go.
Here's my Instagram too, if you guys want to follow me on some stuff. Holy smokes.
Yeah, we've got a few questions. We will have you back on to kind of finish that out for part 2. So stay tuned here, guys. But I had, first off, I know Edison had a few questions in the chat. Edison, are you in a spot where you can unmute to ask questions? I don't know. I want to make sure I get you. There we go.
I think I wrote in the I'm driving, but yeah.
What's going on?
Well, one of my questions is I'm in a tough market in Florida or South Florida. And the guys that are buying houses are spending a lot in marketing, like PPC and Facebook ads and sellouts. So I wonder if there's a new technique. I mean, my deals I get, they're referrals, but I'm around a long time. So I wonder if there's anything that you've noticed for 2024, 2025 and going forward, other than texting, because I don't think, texting has been good for me a little bit, but I do that manually and it's not scalable or anything, but I got it on VA or two from the Philippines that they never show up because, as another one of my questions. But anyway, as far as they're getting leads, my question was, if there's anything ideal, because I'm a little bit old fashioned, so I don't know what's new for the future as far as getting some good leads coming into the pipeline.
So, man, so when it comes to leads, first of all, like the pay-per-click, are those people local or are they like out of state buyers? Like,
good questions. Yeah, a couple that are local, the kind of groups, like 10 of them. Some guys moved here from South Florida from Texas. I just met them at a meetup, and they, I think they do a lot of mailouts and they buy in a couple of states, and I think they're doing pretty good, but they're spending a lot. I think in PPC. I think they're doing about 10 deals throughout, not just in South Florida. So I think they're pretty real, but they didn't tell me exactly how much they spent. But anyway, my question was mainly like, I guess knock on doors. I don't know if there's something that's a little more technical, that not like me, old fashioned, to try to get more leads coming in.
No, I get that. So when it comes to leads, there's going to be like two different ways that we will get these leads. Like we'll get like warm leads and then some cold leads. And I still consider cold calling cold leads because like we don't know all the way until we get some kind of intent or a motivation of somebody that does want to sell, then they become a cold lead. So I think the cold outreach is still super important, the texting and the cold calling. But again, is it like worth your time to do? Not necessarily. I love that you're scaling with a VA. I hate that you're having a problem with your VA. It sounds like you probably need to get a different VA, which I actually, here, I'll show you real quick. Can actually help
Yeah, I
you
got
do.
lucky. I had a couple from Mexico. Last year, I had 3: Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela. Same thing, $2-3 an hour. And I bought they were all good. They worked for me almost 6-8 months, but they were referring, and now I don't. I spent forever to get the good ones.
Here's the deal,
Filipinos
because
are
VAs,
everywhere.
most VAs will be good until they're not. And what I mean by that is they'll be good because they think they might be getting inspected or like getting like most VAs will just work for you, and then at some point, some VAs will end up taking jobs for other people. So then they'll be like good, and they'll be like a little less good, then a little less, then a little less, and then they're still doing the same amount of work or getting paid the same amount, but they're not really there. So they're doing work for other investors. So I think that's kind of like what happens. So I would kind of look at like what's your time tracking. First of all, I would get rid of that VA. That's standard. That ship has sailed with that VA. So like we need a new one. Hey Matt, if you've got to go, you can make me host and I can hang here with everybody.
You're good. I was going to ask. I know we're running over on you. Do you still have a few minutes? Or
Dude, yeah, I'm good,
cool.
man. I'll hang out with you guys till midnight.
Yeah, I know
Let's
there's
do
a
this.
lot of real. I know. Not to interrupt, real quick. I know there's a lot of awesome questions too. Jirius left that link in the chat. It's that school.com/wholesale to BRRRR. So if you don't get to ask your question or don't get to connect with him direct on this call, that's an awesome place to be able to get involved with this community too. So anyway, go ahead.
Cool.
We can hang out another 3:15. I'm good.
Cool. All right, Addison. So I'll give you some like action steps. Number one is like we got to find a new VA. That VA has gotten too comfortable. You're not gonna turn a 3 of clubs into an ace of spades, or even like a jack of clubs. Like that one, the ship has sailed. So we need a new VA. We need new systems and processes with them. Number two is like, what other outreach am I doing? Like, I would look for somebody to throw bandit signs. I freaking love bandit signs. I built my entire business off of signs. Justin, can you give me one of my signs? Yes. Bandit signs that are like 24 inches by 18 inches high that I put out in streets. Like I would pay somebody like $1 a sign. I would pay somebody $1 a sign to go out and put the signs out. Here, yeah. So this is it here. I just did a training on this yesterday in my group. So like right here, I don't even know what this one says. You divide it in thirds. Fast cash offer for homes, 513, like your phone number. Here we go. We buy houses cash, offers, phone number. But like, dude, I built an entire business off that. The next thing is like the fact that those people are out of state and buying houses in your city, in your backyard. Like I would kind of like use that against them a little bit because like you're local, you live there. Like I would just, when I'm meeting with sellers and on these appointments, I'm just like, yeah, like I go to this Publix, whatever you guys have down there. I go to this. Like I would just stress that like I'm a local person. I'm not some big like conglomerate. Like, and like on your phone, change the background on your phone to like your family or your dog or your whatever. And then just make sure they kind of see it like, like it's on the table. They see that so they like connect with you more than they would some fund. Because at the end of the day, like we're all people that like want to help people. Like we care about each other. And if we can lean in on that, that would go a lot further than a random postcard from some guy in South Texas that's trying to buy a house, for just to add to their evil corporation portfolio. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
All right. So look
the
for a new
texting, do
VA.
you do that manually?
So, okay, good question. Somebody asked this earlier. So here's the deal with texting. I'm really big. So remember in the beginning, I told you guys I had no money. Like I was dead broke. So I had to do things that cost little to no money. Part of what I do, so I believe texting is a good tool and there's a good place for it. So I've actually built out I have my own CRM that like my community has. It's like $30 a month and it's going to be super robust. Like it's in the infancy right now, but yeah. So right now, I like to text out of Google Voice because it's free. And I know it's not scalable and I know it's not a power dialer and I know all of that stuff. But number one is I love the dialer that's out of Deal Machine. It's a single line dialer. I love it because the numbers are always fresh. It doesn't get marked as spam. I think it's such a great dialer for 99% of the people out there. So like my system is this, like for my system that I will share with people starting out. Now, if you do more deals, I have a text blast. I have a power dialer. I have all that stuff. Do I think it works a lot better? Like maybe, I don't know. But my system's pretty simple. Pull a bunch of lists off Deal Machine. And I get hyper focused with my list. I want the list to have to consist of about 350 numbers total between all my lists that I pull. I want my VA to call those lists. After my VA will call somebody, if we don't get in touch with them, we'll open up our Google Voice tab, and then we'll copy and paste the thing, and then we'll send them a message on Google Voice to touch them. And it takes a little bit more time, but it's less likely to get flagged, and more importantly, it's really inexpensive. And I don't want I'm talking especially the people out there that don't want to spend a ton of money. Cause like I built systems out when I first got into wholesaling. It was back when you guys ever heard of Salesforce? It was like when Salesforce kind of came out. I built out my Salesforce to be over $10,000 a month in add-ons, plugins, and all this stuff. Nowadays, it's gotten a lot easier. Like there's other companies like Resimpli that have good dialers and robust systems, but they're $600 a month. Who in here, like if I can give you something that can do it 70% as well using Deal Machine and some free plugins, but it's going to take a little bit more time. Like, would you guys rather spend 150 on Deal Machine and like get some free stuff and like be just okay with that? Like, I feel like that's a pretty good exchange. Like, I don't know. But if you want the other stuff, like come in the community, we'll talk about it. Like I won't hide it from you. But I'm just not that person that's going to give you a bunch of like, I don't know. I just don't want to give you a bunch of crap. Like that's it. All right, let's keep rolling.
This is great. Yeah. No, thanks for stepping up and asking the question. Katia, I think I had you on next here.
Oh, great. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. This is great. And I dialed in late, but it was great for what I heard. So, hoping to re-listen to the whole thing. So, but, question for you. I'm always kind of doing this unscientific poll, but, what you said resonated with me in terms of being open and honest with people up front, because I really feel that it establishes rapport and could also be kind of a long-term thing if you end up with sellers who have either multiple properties or even referrals later on. But I'm just wondering, I guess two questions. One, with when you use your VA to determine the warm leads, like how do you determine that it is a warm lead? Like, is it based on like if it's a really, really distressed seller, or is it based on your buy box? So that's kind of question one. And related to that is ultimately, if you do talk to them, do you always give them an offer in 100% of the time? Or do you funnel it down and only give offers to that fit certain criteria for you?
Really good question. So how do I know? So like when they're in Deal Machine, the criteria that I have, so the deals that I will that I would wholesale in are going to be different than the deals that I would buy and hold in. So who in here has heard of that real estate strategy? Like I only buy real estate next to Starbucks and Chipotle's and Chick-fil-A's. Who has heard that? Like, first of all, that's a lie. That's like the biggest mistake you could do in real estate, if in buy and hold. Because if you're investing in those areas, they've already come and gone. Like they're already going to be too expensive. Number one, I want you guys to, if you're buying and holding, I want you guys to like look for neighborhoods that are like nonprofit, that are ministry driven. Look for a ministry driven coffee shop, barbecue place, fill in the blank, something like that. Because those are going to be like the pillars of the community that will build them up. I don't know if David is here from Cincinnati still, but like you look at Walnut Hills, like they had Just Qin, this barbecue spot that was in there forever. In Cincinnati, they had Block Ministry Coffee. That was like, why is this coffee shop here? It's in the ghetto. And guess what? That coffee shop turned into a breakfast spot, then turned into a lunch spot, then brought a Mexican restaurant. Then like it was just a thing that spiraled. So my buy box, but the Chick-fil-A's and Chipotle's and stuff, I think are great areas to flip houses, to sell houses that people want to buy as first-time home buyers in those school districts and in areas like that. So I'm only uploading lists that fit both those buy boxes or in pockets that I know that I can sell deals or that I want to buy and hold deals. So number two is like, how do I know when to move them? Well, basically my formula is simple. Is if the homeowner doesn't hang up on them, right? Or they own the house, they have some kind of intent on selling the house in the next year. Like they're like, well, I'll sell the house. Yeah, we are want to sell. We're entertaining offers. We might. Honestly, it's like anything but a no. I will have them input them on a seller form and then blast them into the CRM so it gets popped up so I can see there's a new lead. And then the VA will be like, awesome, cool. So what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna have my partner Jarius give you a call. He's actually in the area, and he'll set up a time to come take a look at it. Does that sound okay? Or he'd love to talk to you, whatever. So then it'll come through, and then I'll see the lead. I'll call and be like, hey Sandy, it's Jarius. You just talked to Steven, my partner. He mentioned that you guys might be interested in selling your house at some point. I would love to come by and take a look at it and just kind of see what you have going on and see if I could offer any insight or any kind of help. So, if they say, okay, cool. So now I'm going to do all my homework. I'm going to pull my comps. I'm going to do all that stuff, right? Now, sometimes you're going to run into sellers, and this is more often than not, really. You'll run into people that will be like, well, I just want to list it. I just want to put it on the market. How many people have been on seller appointments where they're like, I just want to list it. I'm going to put it on the market, right? All right. So I'm like, okay, cool. No problem. You want to put it on the market. Well, actually, and this is where it helps, like in the beginning of wholesaling, like we're building out our team. So number one, I always advise on getting your real estate license, especially starting out, because my motto was, do you want some of the money or none of the money? And I needed some of the money. So I would offer discounted listings. I'm like, cool, listen, the house is in really great shape. To be totally honest with you, I'm looking to buy properties I can add value in. I'm looking for properties that are kind of beat up. You guys took great care of this house. So I don't think I can help you as far as a fair cash offer goes. But I think if we put it on the market, we could do pretty well. And I know that you might have spoken to a realtor. I know, or whatever they said. But listen, like to be totally honest, like I would love to put this on the market for you. I'll actually like list it for $1,000 or 1% to save you some money, just so maybe we can build a relationship or whatever down the road. And then I would get that listing and offer them a discount. So if I don't leave them with a cash offer, I want to leave them with a different kind of solution where I can actually help them. And if I don't have my license and somebody on my team, how many people in here are wholesaling that has a team? Like how many people has like a go-to realtor, a go-to title company, a go-to attorney, a go-to home inspector, a go-to sewer scope? Like that's your team. Like you're building out a team, guys. Like I'm going to help them. So like, and at that time, like I have a realtor, and I have a realtor that will pull comps or help me do something. And imagine how grateful they are when I say, hey, listen, hey Sandy, I looked at this house. It's not going to work as a wholesale deal. Here's their phone and number. Here's their phone number and name. They're super motivated. Merry Christmas. Thank you for always helping me out. Boom. Do you think that realtor is going to be kind of grateful for that and going to go at bat for you a little bit? Probably, right? Cool. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. The only thing I didn't quite follow is when you said ministry and the coffee shop. I got lost there. Sorry.
So like ministry driven. So like, hold on a second. Oh, let me find this here. So like, all right. So let's do this. East Price Hill, Cincinnati. So I'll just pull up like East Price Hill. Boom. So this is like an area I bought a lot of houses. That was like the hood. But look how close it is to Cincinnati, right? Well, here's this place. Let me see if it's in here. Yeah. Oh no, it's not in here. Oh, there it is. Block Coffee Company. This coffee company started off right here across the street from this. This wasn't even a Mexican. This was nothing here, but it started off right here. This is a ministry-driven coffee company. Their mission is to stop sex trafficking, and like they're a church. They're a nonprofit. Basically, think of like nonprofits in the area. So there's a place like this here. Here, like we look at East Walnut Hills Coffee Shop. This is another nonprofit. Here in East Price Hill. Oops. I don't know. It's here somewhere, but there's a coffee shop there, just queuing and stuff like that. So when I say like nonprofit, I mean like, or ministry driven, I mean like nonprofit, community driven. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yes.
Nice.
All right.
And there are so many good questions. I wish we could get to all of them. I have to, unfortunately.
Can you just make me host, or are you not allowed to do that?
I think if you're able to stay on for a little bit longer.
All right, here's this. How about this? Let me do this.
Yeah,
all right, guys. If you want to come back on, I will. You come in my school community tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. I will open up a Zoom. I'll just do a Zoom, and I'll sit on a Zoom with you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. I'll make an event. If you guys want to come in, I'll drop the link. I do coffee with Jarius anyway, so let me drop the link again. If you guys come in, we'll sit there, we'll hang out, we'll talk.
That's
We'll
awesome.
do whatever you guys
Thank you
want.
for being
Hold
such
on.
a great resource for our community. We're literally about to use the Zoom line for repurposing it. That's why I need to wrap up too. But
You just need to tell them they need to wait.
no,
We got stuff to do.
This is, dude. You're. I appreciate so much you coming on here. We had the chat was blowing up. Like people were loving this. So I love to see again. Give Jarius one more appreciation here, guys. A little just one more thank you in the chat. You stuck around overtime and everything. So I put that link in the chat a couple times for you all. Jump in that school. You'll see me in the school community as well. I come on and do trainings and things like that. But Jarius, we will have to have you back on again soon, man. This was great. So,
Dude, anytime. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys soon. Everybody have an incredible rest of the day. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. But bye, everybody.
so good. Amazing.
Cool.
All right. We'll see everybody next week. Same time, same place. And Jarius, thanks again.
See ya.